Welcome back, Junior Archaeologist. Today, I thought I'd continue my series on how to find a job. This section will be sort of dedicated to archaeologyfieldwork.com. Hang on a sec. A little better. And that's going to be a very short video, so I also thought I'd follow it up with a few general, things to look out for when you're looking at job ads. So first off, let's go to Google and type in. Ooh, my desk is a little messy these days. Alright, so first off, let's type in archaeology fieldwork, just because I'm curious to know what comes up. Oh, there you go. Perfect. Oh, God, they've optimized their search rankings. Anyway, yeah, so this is archaeologyfieldwork.com, and it's a pretty basic site. I mean, some people put in the resumes. I'm not sure if I would. I've never done that before, but that's there. And then obviously there's discussions. And as you can see, interesting. Interesting. I didn't know there'd be so many discussions. Anyway, what we're here for is the jobs, and obviously it's the first tab there. And you'll have to excuse me as I'm looking at my second screen. But yeah, so if you go on the archaeologyfieldwork.com, I wouldn't say they're all the same jobs as shovel bums, since shovel bums usually requires a company to pay to have a job ad on shovel bums. Arc Fieldwork, by contrast, is free. Let's see, and just to show you what some of these ads look like, there you go. There's like a job ad. All right, now then, I'm gonna click away from this, just so that it doesn't look like I'm putting a company on blast, because I definitely don't want to. So, some things to keep in mind when you're going through these job ads is you're looking for specificity. That's basically one of, I think, 2 or 3 concepts I wanted to get across in this video. Basically, the less specific the job, like we're looking for people eventually at some point in the future. Like literally, there's a bunch of jobs like that, especially by the bigger engineering firms that also just happen to have a cultural resources division. And the reason you want to steer away from those, unless it's specifically for a company you want to work for. But the less specific an ad is, the longer the time frame is in terms of when they need you. So I remember applying for a company and not hearing from them for 3 years. And then once I started hearing from them, I was hearing from them a whole lot, which was irritating. Conversely, though, I have to admit, it has changed. Some larger companies will not only send you a, hey, we received your resume email, but they'll even let you know relatively right away whether they're even considering you. And I had a whole rant here. I was gonna put in like how a lot of these larger engineering firms are literally looking for PhDs, people who have like $80,000 worth of student loan debt, and then expect to pay them like $14, $15 an hour, and expect them to be super happy about that. But I'll skip all that. So getting back to mentioning specificity, the more specific the job ad, the faster they'll need people. And those are the sort of ads where, because I'm always telling people, have your resume on hand. Like, don't look at an ad and say, oh, I'm going to apply for it tomorrow or next week. Because if a lot of the smaller companies tend to play, what's the word I'm looking for? I was going to say fast and loose, but but in reality, it's more like they just play things by ear. So those are the companies that if you don't have a lot of experience, you can get in with them on a project. And that's because a lot of those companies will usually go on a first come, first served basis within reason. Obviously, you still have to qualify. You still have to have a degree. You still have, well, most of the time, you still need to, you still need a field school usually, not all the time. But basically, the more specific they are, specifically, we have a job. It takes place in this town, and we're going to start on this date. And it's going to be X number of weeks, and it's going to be this sort of work. It's going to be shovel testing. It's going to be pedestrian survey. It's going to be excavation. It's going to be monitoring. Those are the companies you're really looking for. And what else is there? Oh, one last thing I did want to mention before I close up this video, because I'm not joking when I say I should have left like an hour ago. Today's my Monday, and I'm trying to get this video out and posted today. But, let's see. The last thing I should point out is that a lot of companies, even with these specific ads, when they list salary requirements, a lot of them will say pay commensurate with experience, which is, I really want to use a bad word here, but I'm not. Basically, they're fishing. Like I said before, a lot of companies will, if they could get away with it, would basically hire all the PhDs they could get their hands on and pay them minimum wage if they can get away with it. I don't know how some company owners can go to sleep at night with that sort of attitude, but whatever. You know, I'm not not up to me. Anyway, oh, I don't know if the image is frozen on your side. I hope it's not. Hang on a second. Huh, that's unusual. Hopefully it's still recording, but yeah, my image is frozen on my side. Anyway, a lot of companies, like I said, will be fishing, and when you call them up and attempt to ask them what their salary requirements are, they'll basically throw it back to you and say, all right, well, what do you want? And you can be obnoxious and try to throw it back in their face, well, what do you want? And then when they throw it back to you, you can say, well, $100 an hour, $1,000 a day per diem, or something like that. A lot of companies won't appreciate that, so I always say, just be familiar with what pay is in your region. Hang on, let's see. I don't know if that's better. Hopefully I'm actually moving around. I don't know if I need to reboot this, but anyway, let me finish out the video. So be familiar with what pay is in your region. One of the things I will say is that's where a site like Archaeology Fieldwork comes in handy, because you can look at the job ads and see the specific ones. And not just the specific ones, but the ones in your area. So if you're looking at one company and they're not giving you any information about what they might pay you, you can look at what other companies in your region pay. Alternatively, you can reach out to people who graduated ahead of you. And as a last resort, you can always go on, I don't know. Oh, wait. Hang on, I just realized I'm not actually clicking on the right screen. Let's see, you can go like discussions and type in a question here. There's also, Facebook has a few archaeology themed groups where you can obviously post questions there. And one thing I found is that, don't be intimidated. A lot of archaeologists are very helpful when it comes to this sort of thing. So don't hesitate to ask questions. As long as you're in a real cultural resources management archaeology or field archaeology Facebook group. Because obviously there are plenty that are dedicated to amateurs. You know, they're interested in historic archaeology, or they're interested in the archaeology of England, or whatever. Those aren't real groups. Like, make sure you're in an actual industry group where people who, where not only are there other field archaeologists, but sometimes you might even find a job through there, because more and more I notice companies are posting on Facebook for field techs, which is interesting. I never thought I'd see that day. You know, it makes it very handy. Assuming you're on Facebook. I know a lot of people aren't, but I'm on Facebook just for that reason. Anyway, let's see. Aha. I realized that was kind of a short video, but I don't think there's really a whole lot I can say, at least without putting a company on blast. I realized I could go through these. I could go through each individual job ad and, like, pick it apart, but I don't really want to do that because this is a public video. And I always try to be nice in these videos, more or less. Anyway, if you found that useful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And until the next video, have a good day. Oh, and since I am recording this on December 2nd, 2020, hopefully you have a Merry Christmas, or Happy holidays, I guess would be more like it. Hopefully you have a happy holidays. And hopefully 2021 is better for everyone. Have a good day, junior archaeologist.